Okay, I think we are live. Oh, there's an echo. Because, well, I don't know if it's a great way to start. Great way to start. I figure what's going on here. Oh, it's because I have the stream. Yeah. If you're joining us live, thanks for joining us live. I apologize if the echo is visible or you can hear it on your end. I'm going to figure what that's up. But in the meantime, if you're not joining us live, just a warning, we're going to be starting in about 4 minutes. So you can just skip ahead. Or if you are joining us live, hang out for a couple minutes. And I'm going to see what's going on with this echo. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay. Hey, there's no echo. Great. Fixed it. All right. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're going to get started in just a second, as I said. Yeah. And while we're waiting, let me take a moment to thank our sponsor. Yankee Bookstore has been sponsoring History Chats this year. So big thanks to them for making it possible for us to do these. And thanks as well to all of you who are our members of the Historical Society. You make it possible as well. And hey, if you're not already a member, it's a great way to support local history here and all the programs we do. You can find out more at our website, marathoncountyhistory.org, or you can actually come in and say hi in person. We are back open, actually weekend hours again, as well. We are open Tuesday through Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, we open at 1. Otherwise, we open at 9. We go to 3:30 or 4:30. 4:30. Yeah. So anyway, you can give us a call or come in person or see your website. If you want to become more involved and support local history, or if you're just interested in learning more and seeing our exhibits and all of that sort of stuff, that's always there too. But again, yeah, thanks to everybody who makes it possible for us to do this. Actually, speaking of things that are coming up and being in person, I might as well take a moment here just to tell you something very exciting. Yeah, so we've been working on an exhibit about the county parks for the last, well, it was supposed to open up last summer, but obviously we had some challenges with that, so it's been delayed. But hey, we finally have it more or less finished. Just a couple last tweaks here. It will be actually open to the public next week, Tuesday. So it's a great, I mean, I'm a little biased. I'm the main lead for the exhibit, but I think it came out great. It's a great look at the county parks, the last century of them in existence and all of the different parks and the stories of people at them. So yeah, again, I don't know, I guess this is probably the first time we're formally announcing this, but hey, it's opening next Tuesday. So if you want to come in and see some of that, there's more information that I'm sure that we will be releasing in the week to come. So yeah, but with that, I think it's about time we get started. So I'm gonna just turn it over right to Gary, and Gary will be telling about some of his favorite pictures.
Thank you. Well, this month we're celebrating people's favorite.
I'm sorry, I think we had a problem. The mic doesn't seem to be picking up on Gary's end. I'm gonna see. I guess we're just having technical issues today. Let me see if I can fix this. It was muted. Okay.
So now,
Yeah.
so now are you hearing me?
Yep. Now we're.
Okay, now we can go. So again, thank you, Ben. Again, this month we at the Historical Society is presenting people's variety of photos, and it becomes very difficult within the whole realm of our photos here at the Historical Society for me to pick out one. I've picked out two because there are two pictures that I think reflect a part of our history here at the Society. And we,
Well, is it
some
I
more.
need to click in. We're just having all the technical issues today. Yeah, because I think you just need to click anywhere in here. I can't see where your cursor is. There you go.
Okay,
Now it should work.
so some difficulties here. So I have picked two pictures that reflect certain eras in our history, and we'll talk a little bit about them. So the first picture is this picture. You may recognize the building. It's the shelter house at Rib Mountain, and the Civilian Conservation Corps worker as part of this picture. And with any story, pretty much within our history, it's about people. And the Civilian Conservation Corps was instrumental in working in Marathon County. We'll talk a little bit about that, but they were instrumental in building this shelter on Rib Mountain during Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal era in the 1930s. So the story begins at Rib Mountain State Park. Rib Mountain State Park was starting to be developed as a tourist attraction, and in the 1930s, the civil consciousness in the city and the county said, let's do something with Rib Mountain. So we proceeded to develop Rib Mountain State Park as a tourist attraction, and part of that was the shelter house at Rib Mountain. It began as a work progress administration effort here in Marathon County. Eventually, it was taken over by the Civilian Conservation Corps, all under the direction of I.S. Horgan, who was the county superintendent of parks at that time. So it was a New Deal effort, money coming in to build this shelter at Rib Mountain, and we can see that the plans were starting to develop. This was one of the first projects on Rib Mountain, one of the first projects in Marathon County with regard to the federal work here being done. So here, this is it took a little while for the money to come in and the plans to be developed, but this is an early rendering of the Winter Sports Lodge, as they were calling it in the 30s here at Rib Mountain. Of course, it took a lot of work. The Civilian Conservation Corps was based at a camp on the foot of Rib Mountain along the Wisconsin River. They were also working at the Eau Claire Dells as well as the Eau Plaine County parks. The state park here at Rib Mountain was sort of a state project, but working again, like I said, with the community, we were starting to develop it as a ski resort area. Again, as the work developed here, all built of stone, 2 stories. The story from the local paper says the entirely of stone, convenience of water sports enthusiasts here in Marathon County as well as throughout Wisconsin, January of 1939. Eventually, by December of 1939, the structure was complete, and they were ready for the new skiers to start to come in. And what the result of this project, the result of the shelter, this lodge, was to be the home for many years of the ski tourist attractions here on Rib Mountain. The Civilian Conservation Corps went on to develop the ski trails, some of the other amenities on Rib Mountain, but it was really a key part of our work here during the New Deal on Rim Mountain, this shelter, this lodge. And the earlier in the decade, in 1935, the local paper made note of the 91 Marathon County youths here that are working with the Civilian Conservation Corps in Marathon County. And it goes on to say the Civilian Conservation Corps is one of the outstanding accomplishments of the New Deal. It has escaped serious criticism from even the most caustic objectors to the general policies of the present administration, while it received much praise from all sections of public opinion. So it was really greeted with great enthusiasm here in Marathon County. So this wasn't, of course, like I said, this was the Civilian Conservation Corps project, as I said, with the Eau Claire Dales and the Eau Plaine. But the New Deal's efforts throughout Marathon County with regard to other parks, the Works Progress Administration, the National Youth Administration, a variety of other agencies were all important in developing a variety of different projects here in Marathon County. And this is one of the prime examples, I think, of that New Deal effort here in Marathon County. My second picture is of this. This is a view looking west. Of course, some of the items in the picture are quite noticeable to you, recognizable. We'll take a look at this picture because I think that this picture introduces us to the 1960s, also the 1860s. I'll talk about that in a minute with the park. But this is really beginning a new era for Wausau. A lot of things are starting to change in the history of Wausau and Marathon County, and I think this in a way reflects a little bit of that change as we're progressing. Well, of course, the most obvious picture was the Marathon Park. You can recognize the exhibition building, but take a look at at this time, I think this picture would have been taken maybe in the late 1970s. I'm not quite sure when this picture was exactly, but it's not important. The important thing is recognizing what was here at one time in what we think would be in the 1970s. So here we have an exhibition building, the racetrack, of course, and if you're taking a look at the grandstand, the old grandstand building there, it's been, of course, since replaced. But some of the other buildings are still here. The judging pavilion, the cow barns, all part of that Marathon County Park since the 1860s. Of course, the buildings have been added in the 1920s, but basically the park, Marathon County Park, for the enjoyment of all the citizens of this county, a great treasure that we've been having for a long time. But getting back to the picture, there are several pictures that I want to, or areas that I just want to bring our attention to. Part of that picture was the new bypass. The new bypass coming in was announced in the late 1950s, built in the early 1960s, but the mayor at that time said it's real progress to have this belt line or the bypass being built around on the western side of the city of Wausau. So that bypass, that belt line really did change the face of Wausau, Marathon County, continuing from the early 1960s. And I think some of the pictures that we'll see will reflect that. We'll take a little bit of a close look at this corner of this picture. We'll come in closer. So we see the John Muir Junior High School, 1962. Again, welcoming the 1960s with this new junior high school on the west side of Wausau, Stewart Avenue and 17th Avenue. hardly anything around it. 17th Avenue is starting to be developed. Stewart Avenue is a little bit not as thoroughfare as we want to see it, but it will get there eventually. But this is the new John Muir Junior High, in addition to, of course, the Horace Mann School on the east side of Wausau. So then we start to see the development of projects along 17th Avenue. So on the lower part of this, on 17th Avenue, would be Bob Johnson's Chevrolet on 17th Avenue, 1963. And the larger building in back of that in the early days, was a Tempo store. It became a variety of other stores through the years. Now pretty much county market is there. Shopko was there for a long time there in that building. But this is the beginning of that complex in the early 1960s. And then, of course, in 1976, we have the building of the Wausau Insurance Complex on the west side. They were coming from the east side of Wausau on Grant Street. They built this new complex for their world headquarters, really, in 1976, for their, like I say, for their world operations. It put Wausau on the map for many, many years, especially with this new complex here on the west side. If you notice that there's no Wausau Hospital Center yet, the Wausau Hospital Center will be moving and coming into that 28th Avenue site within the next few years after a merger of the hospitals and all that movement of medical history in the early 1970s. So here we have it. Again, we have the picture. I want to now focus in a little bit on the lower part of this picture with the university at one time being called the UW Marathon County campus. And all of this was pretty much happening in the 1960s. The North Hall was, on your right, was built in the 1960. South Hall, the Field House, and Marathon Hall, or the dormitory, was all built in the late 1960s, 1969. So this was, again, in addition to the west side of Wausau, the great influence in the academic life of this community and of this county and of the central Wisconsin for many, many years, until just recently merging with the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point. But again, a strong influence in this community being built in the 1960s. And I want you to, we don't see this building very often, but it's the 4-H dormitory that was part of the 4-H program here at the part of the Agricultural Society. During the Wisconsin Valley Fair, 4-H people 4-H youth would come and stay in these dorms during the fair for a variety of animals that they would be bringing into the fair at that time. So again, the University Marathon campus, this is again the housing to the east of 7th Avenue the new theater would come in, but this is the complex that would be leading our 2-year academic life here for Marathon County for decades into the future. So those are the two pictures that I picked. It's, like I said before, it's hard to pick a couple pictures that reflect really what Marathon County history is all about. But I think one of the great stories of Marathon County is the the New Deal work being done here in Marathon County, as exemplified by the Civilian Conservation Corps on Rib Mountain with this shelter or this lodge. And then another view of Wausau as it starts to grow to the west in the early 1960s. The elements were there, and we'll see that through the university, through John Muir, through the happenings on 17th Avenue, Wausau Insurance, and eventually later Wausau Hospitals. The movement to the west would be continuing to grow, and that would be a key part of the history of Wausau as we go forward. So with that, I turn it back to Ben. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a commentary on these two pictures, but these sort of reflect on key parts, I think, of our history that we all continue to share, and especially through the Marathon County Historical Society. So thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. Yeah, awesome. So before we get into questions, again, if you have any questions about these pictures or just in general, feel free to drop those in the comment or chat sections if you're able to do that. But I wanted to mention, what are we doing next week? We've been doing staff favorites last 3 weeks, but we're going to continue the the theme of favorite pictures. Next week we're going to have your favorite pictures. So I want your favorite pictures, if you have one. I don't know that everybody does, but if you have a favorite picture of Marathon County history for, something that you're interested in, or it's important to your family, or what have you. We've gotten a couple already, but this is I guess this is my last call here. If you have any pictures, you can comment if it's something that you can put on this video, if you want to do that, or if you also, like on our Facebook page, we have I think a sticky comment asking for that. Or if you'd like, you can email me directly. Here is my email address. I'm trusting you to use this responsibly, and would prefer not to get signed up for any weird e-newsletters or something like that. But I trust you, our viewers, to do that. But anyway, yeah. If you have any question or any your favorite pictures, whether you can describe it to me, or if you have a digital copy of it, or you can take a picture of it, or whatever, feel free to send those my way, and we'll pull together what we can of those, and again, just do a roundup of the our viewers' favorite pictures. So yeah, there's my pitch for that. Let's go back. Oop, here we go, and see questions. So I think there's a little bit of some discussion happening on Facebook here. Chris Martins said that the 4-H kids still stay in the dorms today, although I think it'd be different dorms, right? Right. Yeah. Although good correction that probably this would be the first year without the dorms, considering the situation. But yeah, other than that, again, some appreciative people in the comments again for Gary's sharing of some good choices here that you picked. But yeah, I think that is. It looks like that's the extent of questions, I guess, comments. But yeah, I think maybe we'll call that a stream. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching us. It's always great to have people joining us live for these things, and to you who may be joining us after the fact. Understand we can't always make it work for everybody. So thanks for watching, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And we will see you next week with your favorite pictures. Thanks.